So a few weeks ago, maybe even months ago, I got sent this thread on Twitter from my friend. She's going through the process of applying for the working holiday visa, the same visa that I'm on, that allows me to be in Canada to live and work for 2 years. So she's like, actually, I don't think I want to apply anymore. Read this thread. So she sends me this Twitter thread, and it's like a list of pros and cons about the experience here from like a fellow Londoner. This thread blew up. I basically had to sit down and address every point of this thread with my friend. I thought it might be helpful to actually walk you through this thread. I'm just here to add one more perspective and able to aid other people making the decision. Okay, so the thread that was being shared was by @NinaDNJ, and it starts like this. I've seen a lot of Londoners tweeting about wanting to move to Canada. As a Londoner currently living in Toronto, there are so many things I wish I knew before packing my bags and getting on the plane. So the first and second tweets. First question I get is why I chose Toronto. It was kind of default. I always wanted to live in New York, but the US is virtually impossible. Finding the closest Canadian city and working for a company with an NY office was my next idea, so here I am. The next tweet is, the first thing I wish I knew is that being in Toronto makes no difference to the US visa process, even if I was working for a company with the US office. It's still almost identical to me applying from the UK. Well, that's true. The number one question I do get asked is, why Canada? Why Toronto? Why would you leave London? The reason why I moved is because I wanted to live in a different country. So my reasons are vastly different. Initially, I didn't want to live in States like a few of my siblings, but you know, things change and you learn and you grow and you're like, okay, I'm not so, set on being there, but I do want the experience of living in a different country. But I did know that Canada and America, as close as they are two different places. You have to understand that it's not going to be a mini America. If your aim is for the States, being here does not help the visa process. However, the proximity to the States will help you, and the proximity to a network of people that are connected will help you. And, popping over to an hour to New York for an interview or for networking can help you, right? And a lot of companies do have offices here, so the proximity can help, the network can help, but no, legally it doesn't help. So the next tweet was about travel. This is one of my biggest daily irritations. I never thought I'd ever declare my love for TfL, but the TTC is nowhere near as advanced as the transport system in London. There are only 2 lines on the subway/underground. It takes some adjusting. It also takes longer to get places via public transport here than driving versus London, where if you were trying to get somewhere fast, everyone knows you get the tube, not here. A monthly travel pass costs the same amount no matter when you buy it. Example, if you purchase it on the 13th, you still pay the full price, whereas in London they calculate 30 days from the day you purchase it. Very annoying. Those things are all true. The system here, the TTC, is not as advanced as a TfL in London. I have more lines that cover more of London geographically, and I also missed the night tube. So Toronto just launched their Oyster card, called the Presto card. It's new and it's teething. It's got potential though, they're catching up. They used to have paper transfers where you print a lot of paper and you take it from vehicle to vehicle. So this is definitely a step in the right direction. But what I will say that's good is instead of paying every time you tap, you pay once until the end of your journey. So that's their transfer system. So it's valid up to 2 hours. So if you were going out to get groceries, you could get your groceries, get back on, get home, all within that one tap, and that one tap is $3. So that's a pro. and that same $3 can take you to another city or another town. I guess another positive thing about traveling here is that Ubers generally are cheaper, and because the roads are on a grid system, they're just straight and long, and usually like A to B, it's quicker to drive, and because you're not stopping, the journey is just cheaper. And then you got Pool, the blah 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 express Pool, as well as they do a lot more coupons here. So I think in London I remember just getting a coupon voucher code when you first join Uber, free ride or whatever, and then you have the referral system. But here, like, they send you for 2 weeks off, you get $5. For 2 weeks you get $5 off, etc. So that's really good. And they have more competitors here. So they have Lyft, who also always gives vouchers out. So they have to keep the prices a little bit more competitive here, I think. But you do tip on your Uber ride here if you want a good rating, so there's that to consider too. And another thing about travel is that it just took me forever to learn the grid system, the tube system, crossing the road, north, east, south, west. Like, I was legit walking around with the compass, like not a real old compass, but like on my phone, knowing that I needed to be like on the north side of this side of the road or blah blah blah. Like, I would be like, okay, that way. Like, it took me a while, and I would go the wrong way at least once a week. Like, it was just normal for me, but I think I've got to grips with it now. Okay, the next tweet on the thread is about rent. It says, if you want to live downtown like I do, rent can be quite pricey, anywhere from $1,200 to $1,800 a month if you're sharing with someone. It can be $2,000 plus if you're living alone. You can rent your own place way more comfortably than you could in London. That's the pro, right? Because property has more value in London. So the value of living alone here is just cheaper than it is in London. Most things, a lot of things are cheaper or slightly cheaper here. If you do want to live in a super modern, luxurious condo with a 35th floor view, then that does have a premium. That's not for everyone. There's lots of different options that are also way more affordable. And buying is actually really easy to buy here. So I have a friend, she had some savings, and when she came over from London to Toronto, she was able to buy a condo. So like, it's definitely possible to just get on the ladder, saving, or just within a few years. So that was mainly based off the strength of the conversion rate, but it's just what you would imagine owning costs in the UK in pounds. You can literally say that that's what it'd be in dollars, which automatically makes it cheaper, right? A few users did comment on the prices that she mentioned converted to pounds didn't sound that much to warrant like complaining about. But the point is, the value of things are less here. So there's nothing that should have the same value in Toronto and London, right? Like, if I spend £1 on Ribena, does that sound about right? If I spend £2 on Ribena, I should spend $2 on Ribena. I shouldn't spend $4 on Ribena. Like, that's the kind of mindset you have to get into, right? Shouldn't be paying London prices in Toronto, so converting does not really help, and it's not a mindset you should get into, because after a while you won't have pounds anymore. You're just gonna have to be completely Canadian dollar focused. Okay, so I've lived in about 4 different places since I've been here, which is nearly a year now. So I do think I have like a good idea of the rental landscape, and I would say the 4 places have been vastly different in different parts of town. So I'm not saying I'm an expert. You can rent in a house share, or an apartment for $600 to $1,200 a month. It's possible. I know people who have done it. If you want more luxury, more amenities, nicer building, super luxurious now, more high end, more downtown areas, and just looking, you just want to live with one other person. That's when you start to get into your 1,500, possibly just for a room and a bathroom, sharing with one other person in a super nice place. And then you get into 1,600, 700, 1,800 can still be a share. But 1,800 is also when you can get that same luxurious condo for yourself, 1 bedroom or studio, 1,800. Downtown super nice is where it starts, right? Building up to 2,000, blah blah blah. Now when I say amenities, I mean like party room, basketball courts, gyms, saunas, patios, rooftop kind of hangout, concierge, etc. So now there are apartments which are like these condos but less modern and less amenities and not all the frills that you get with it. Older buildings but can still be nice. And that's when you can come down and you're looking at on your own, maybe 1,400, 1,300, 1,200, depending on like how much you're willing to compromise. And then, you know, what if you have someone, it's just, you're laughing. You could get a super nice condo, you're paying 1,000 each, or you know, super high end, paying 1,500 each, or just a regular this will do, paying 900, 800 each. I mean, having that other person, you are just laughing. You can live well. So you know, I wish I came with the boo. A lot of what I was saying earlier about prices, that I do mean like downtown-ish, right? But again, that's not for everyone, and it's not necessary, especially if you're looking for a bargain. Yes, it's great to be downtown and living that life, blah blah blah, but if you ain't got money to enjoy that life, it's like, what's the point? Live a little bit further out and use that money to go on holidays, to save, to have a life that you can, you know, actually enjoy without thinking, oh crap, my rent is so expensive, right? You can live 5 minutes away from all the bars, but what if you can't afford to drink in them, you know? So I was like, these are the areas that now I know I would be like, have no problem living in. So it's like the beaches, West End, so Ossington, College, Little Italy, parts of Wellesley, Lakeshore, Broadview, love Broadview, Cape Danforth is just like a really nice community feel type area, and you know, they're not as expensive as living in the core of downtown, these places, but it does take some looking. Like, you definitely need time, I think, to find what's right, what's in budget. I think a lot of the times people end up in situations which are not ideal because of time constraints, right? You just need something, you just sign a paper. And a lot of these places I just mentioned, you can get downtown in 20-30 minutes or less. And I'd say the closer you live to a subway stop, you're just laughing. Like, your commute will be easier than someone that does live downtown, and it's just a little bit more awkward to maneuver. I'd say the areas that, you know, are on the come up would be like North York. They're doing a lot of new buildings out there which are a little bit more affordable, especially if you want to live alone. And again, if you live near the major subway stations, it's just really ideal. Another upcoming area is probably Young and Egg, like Young and Eglinton. So it's kind of boomed already. They're building a station there. There's lots of condos there, but it's like a mini downtown. It's got a vibe. Actually, good area to look around in. So the big shocker for me was paying first and last. So it's basically 2 months rent up front. Furnished in the UK might mean like your whole flat is furnished. Furnished here means the kitchen has a fridge, a microwave, a kettle, and a laundry washer dryer. In no way are you getting a sofa or a bed or a bookcase. The rare find is fully furnished, but it is rare. That's not standard. Okay, the next tweet in the thread is bills and groceries. Phone contracts with good data allowance. Max, you can get 10 to 12 gig, and service will take you back at least $100 a month. Not that bad when converted to pounds, but it's crazy expensive here. I pay an average of $110 a month and only get 6 gigabytes. Okay, so this is one where we've just had different experiences. So my friend recommended to me a Chatter, CHATR, and that was what I signed up on my first week of being here. It was a rolling plan. I already had my phone from the UK. I got it unlocked for different SIMs before I left, and my contract was just finishing, so I put my UK SIM to like an old phone I had, and I got the Chatter SIM. I think it was $40 a month. I got a 416 number. Apparently that's a big deal. I don't know. I think the new one's 647 and 416 is where the 6 comes from. I don't know. But people were like, oh, how do you get 416? And I'm like, I don't know. I just went to the shop. So I was on Chatter for a few months in the summer. I think I had like 2 or 3 gigs. I was paying $40 a month. I just needed to be able to get those calls from that job, honey, like, you know, and be able to call. I feel like I was always calling people, customer service, banks, blah blah blah, always on that phone, and you know, my new friends. So it was okay. Like, service was okay, the internet was okay. And then I was walking around, and I saw Freedom, and they were offering 10 gigs with a bonus 3 gigs for $50 or for $60 a month, but it was $10 off a month for a year, an additional 3 gigs data for the year, right? So I'm paying with taxes $57 a month. I have 13 gigs. I have unlimited text worldwide, including picture messages. I have minutes to the US, and then I also have minutes and data for when you leave the GTA. So in Toronto, all your data is as standard. What you get is for Toronto, and then the minute you kind of leave those areas, you do not get that data allowance anymore. You either just don't have any that covers it and you have no service, or you have specific data allocated for those areas. I think it's like tiers of areas. Anyway, I haven't left Toronto yet, so I'm gonna have to fill you in on that. But yeah, like, I would definitely say there is Virgin here, which is like easy to go to because it's familiar, and then you have your big players like Bell and Rogers, which offer like phone contracts and internet. So you're gonna go with what's reputable because you don't really know so much. But if you remember, like in the UK and stuff, you had TalkTalk and those like off-brand service providers that end up using the same infrastructure anyway. These companies like Bell, Rogers have their off-brand companies that offer these cheaper data plans. Okay, so Bell has Lucky. Freedom is from Shaw, and Rogers has Chatter. So this is the same company providing different tiers of services. So I'm basically on a plan from Rogers. No, I'm on a plan from Shaw because I'm now Freedom, right? So I take advantage of that. Like, I've not gone through the process where I needed a new phone with my contract yet. So this is just similarly rolling data plan. So not being too bad. So next tweet. It says, London is so expensive. If anyone says that to me ever again, I can faint. Grocery shopping in Toronto is not cheap. It's another case of pick and choose. You can either be healthy and pay the price or save your coins and eat fried food all day, your choice. I found the stores here really weird. So like a lot of chains are really bad quality. They're super cheap. Like you can get strawberries for $1.50, but they're so bad. Like they taste, I don't even know how to describe it. And if you want to pay for higher quality foods, the prices are just ridiculous. Now you're paying $5 for a little casket of strawberries. It's just like one extreme or the other. So there is Whole Foods, but you know, who's got Whole Foods money? This is my compromise. Down the road, there's a Freshco. So I go there for my fresh fruits and veggies, and I go there for my basics that I know that it's pretty much the same wherever I'm getting it from, right? Milk, etc., bread. Now, I will shop there in the organic section for things that I like, that I need them to be organic, right? The organic section in a cheaper store is going to be cheaper overall, right? And then there are things that I just have to get from your Tesco's. So that's Metro and Loblaws, etc. And that's like salmon, things like that you just don't really want to take the chance on. So that's the compromise. But yeah, like eating out is way cheaper. It just makes no sense. And coupon culture is real. Like they will send you coupons and your offer letters for a week through the door. I was like, who did I think I am? Now I'm waiting, looking it up online, coupons for next week. There's always a sale and there's just times to buy things and there's just offers every week, and you just kind of plan your shopping around that, and you do save money. So I'm about that coupon culture now. Okay, working life. The standard holiday for full-time job is 2 weeks, aka 10 days. The Canadians are very similar to Americans in that way. They live to work with little time for themselves and self-care. An interesting way to live, just not for your girl, okay? Totally true. We are so spoiled in the UK with the amount of holidays we get. I didn't even know how good I had it. Pros and cons, okay. Something positive. There are more bank holiday weekends here. They're called long weekends here. And there are nine or 10 months of the year where there's a long weekend in that month, right? So short trips or just little excursions or getaways are very common and very possible and very easy to do right now, with like America so close and the Caribbean so close. You can take a 3-day week or a 4-day weekend. Bank accounts are very easy to open once you have your social security number, but you are charged monthly for debit card based on usage. $5 a month if you use it 1 to 3 times, $10 a month for 4 to 10, and a max of 15 if you use it any more than that. Crazy. Yeah, so she's right. Accounts are super easy to open. Like, I got my SIN number at the airport on arrival. So as long as I had my SIN and I had my visa and my passport, I was able to walk into a bank that week and open an account. They don't publicize this very much. It's something you kind of see after, but they do newcomer packages. So if you're new to Canada up to 3 years, you can get a package with like a debit card, a savings account, and a credit card, I believe. And usually it waives the fees for debit card usage, etc. And some banks operate that. So RBC definitely operates that, and that's the bank that I ended up going with after Scotiabank. And I'm still able to get that newcomer package, and as long as you're working, you can get that credit card. Ask around at banks for newcomer packages or deals that they do. At the end of the day, I think like if you're a Londoner at heart, you're just a Londoner, and there's nothing that's going to take that away, and that could just be the place for you and the place that you're meant to be, and there's actually nothing wrong with that. You know, you can try something and know that, okay, this is not for me, I'm gonna go home, and like, more power to you. I love London. Like, I don't regret it at all leaving, but I definitely appreciate it way more than I did when I was living there. As I said to my friend, you just have to consider like your reasons and your motivations for moving. You really have to do the work, and you have to be honest with yourself. Like, am I running from something? Am I trying to escape something? Like, what is it I'm looking for? What do I think is going to change? How do I hope to be more fulfilled? Why exactly am I doing this? You know, you really do have to do that, because it's not about getting a job and finding a place. You can do that anywhere. Like, you've done that before, but who you were before you left is going to be exactly who you are when you land. Thanks for watching. I hope this gave you some insight into living here and making the decision to move here. If you're thinking about making a move yourself, the best way is just, you know, come try it out, give yourself time, immerse yourself in the experience, and listen to lots of different stories. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hope to see you on the next video.